Welcome to Capital of the Border, man. I've been trying to do this for quite a while, and all these things got in the way, and we're at the end already of voting, and I was like, I have to call
Yeah,
Jerry.
I was wondering if this was going to happen. You really slipped it in at the very last minute.
I know, but it's because you said something about one percenters, bro, and
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But no, I think Jerry, I wanted to do this because we've worked together
Yeah.
on several projects, and I and there was one thing that I really appreciate from you at that time, and it was a time on my end that I was kind of like transitioning to this role, and I told you like, man, I'm kind of struggling, and I couldn't get out of that. I was in this dark place of like not able to connect with people in sales. And dude, you're like, hey man, like I'll help you as much as I can, bro. Like I'm in, like lock in, I'm locking in, and let's move it. And I was like, dude, you don't even know me. I was just getting to know you, and I was like, okay, this guy's real. Like this guy's he's straight up, like he's just like, hey man, he has your back, and
Well,
that's
yeah, and that's that's just the way I was raised, and that's
Yeah.
just the way that that's what we're here for, is to kind of stop and help others.
Yeah.
That's the way we were raised. Not only in our family life, that's the way we were raised in our religion, and that's just the human thing to do. Is anytime someone needs help, is how can you lend a helping hand? I mean, regardless of who it is. And this kind of goes back to things that I've been talking about in the campaign, and I was raised that way, and I talk about it all the time. I mean, my grandfather would always say, haz el bien y no te fijes a quién. He's just do good, and it doesn't matter who it is. Just go out and do good and help others. And that has just been ingrained in my personality and who I am. And so anytime I can lend a helping hand to somebody, I'm going to try to do it.
Yeah, man. I think it was a very interesting and nice thing to see, because I didn't know you weren't running for office.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were running for office, and it was just kind of like, okay, that's cool. Like that's somebody that I would like, game on, let's go to work.
That's what I would want somebody to do for me, and that's something I would do for somebody else. So no, I mean that's just the kind of person I am, and I think that's why being in public service. We talked about it earlier. Sometimes I just feel like a fish in water with public service, because what better place can you be in to help others than in public service? That's not saying that the only way you can help others is in public service. You can certainly help others and not be in public service, but being there just kind of gives you a little bit more punch and gives you a greater ability to help others.
And I think Jerry, like, so I know you personally, but there's people that don't. There's a lot of folks that don't understand, like they don't know you, and you can't talk to everybody, like
As much as we've tried.
yeah. I'm pretty sure you
tried,
have,
we
and you're
tried.
so at it, and I know you're gonna have to take off. But one of the things that I kind of wanted to know is like, or kind of if we can talk about this, is more about you. Like I know, dude. I told you I have you saved under like Jerry KGNS.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before. Like, man, there's never been that separation, and I want to do that. I want to be able to say, okay, who is Jerry?
Yeah.
Like, born, raised in Laredo, married, not married, kids, or 3, 10 kids. I don't know. That's where I kind of
No, not 10.
not 10 kids. No?
I wouldn't be running for office. Well, you know what? Let's kind of start. I'm born and raised here in Laredo. Middle class family. We certainly didn't have all of the excesses and surplus. But never didn't need anything. But like most families, it was simple middle class family. It was just trying to make ends meet and trying to get, my parents, all they did was try to get this little guy ahead, which back then I wasn't very little.
You're husky?
Yeah, a little bit. But no, I went to school and raised Catholic and went to Catholic school, because my parents wanted to ingrain that religion, being a very important part of development and growth. So I grew up here. I went to school here. Graduated from TAMU. I got my bachelor's degree from TAMU. Went to St. Mary's University to get my master's. And since then, I've kept this the idea of lifelong learning. I went back to school. I got my bachelor's in accounting, and I'm about to finish my second master's in financial planning. Had it not been for the campaign, I probably would have already finished, but I'm 2 classes away, and as soon as this is done, I hope to go back and finish it. But that would be my second master's. So I'm a firm believer in education, and I've tried to relay that over to my kids. Been married to love of my life, Maritza, since 2002. We've got 4 kids. Jerry and Alex, who are my oldest, are twins. So imagine that, starting off with twins from the very beginning. And then, I've got my middle son, who's 15, Arturo, goes to Alexander. And my little girl, who's 11, goes to United Middle School, Daniela. But, my life revolves around them. And like most people, just try to be a good dad. And it's a challenge every day, and you learn every day, but you just try to be a good dad, provide for your family. And, one of the things I tell people is, especially during the campaign, if we have the ability, hopefully, if I get elected county judge, if I can make everything great for other people, I also make it great for them. And that's really, at the end of the day, that's, as fathers, you're a dad.
Yeah.
That's really what we want is, what can we do to make it easier for them to do better? And that would be my goal.
Yeah, man, I think it's reaching out for everybody to see that. And I think, like I said, I know you and I know the person you are, and I've seen you like in working, but I was like, well, let's separate that. Who is
Well,
Jerry?
let me ask you this, and you're right, because not a lot of people, I'm turning the tables on you now. Not a lot of people, as much as we try to talk to people, and for as much as I've been, one thing I tell people is, with me, what you see is what you get. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah. I think working with you, it was more like I guess not saying laid back, because you're not laid back, but you process things.
Cool.
Like you'll
cool.
You're chill. Like you're just chill, and you'll process things, and you're thinking about it. You won't act on it. I've seen you do that. You'll get the message. I'm like, okay, and it's processing. You're just thinking, and that's good, man. And I've learned that now when you're in business, you have to take those decisions and start processing them. Like, what are the outcomes, and then you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And you're like that, and that's where I'm like, what you see is what you get, and it's true. Like, and that's one of the things that I'm like, okay, game on. Like, I like that guy.
Well, and I like to make sure that the decisions we're making are, one, going to be correct, and they're not always going to be, but
absolutely,
what's going to generate the maximum benefit for people, because it's not just about me. If I was a selfish, greedy person, the decisions would be made like that, and impulsively, because the decisions will be made about what's best for me. But the decisions I make, or when we talk about, moving forward, it's what decision can I make that's going to benefit everybody,
right,
or the most in society. And those decisions you can't make impulsively. You can't make them quickly. You gotta weigh it out. And I learned that very, very early on, and it stuck with me.
And I think it was I saw your debate, man, and I think this is my personal opinion, and I don't know, you might relate to it, you might say, yeah, I agree, but I think debates are just showing us how well you prepare for it.
Yeah.
And then we get these political correct answers. Yeah. And there's topics that are very good topics that we do, but we need time. We need more time to actually dissect that actual issue. But in a debate, within 30 seconds is like answer. It's like, you can't. It's like a beauty pageant, bro.
Yeah, it's a snapshot, right? You open the curtain, kind of see what's back there, and it closes. And a lot of things that we do are not debates, because debate would be actually engaging with each other. What we see a lot of times is just forums.
Right.
Let me ask you a question, and let me see how you respond, which I think in and of itself are very good, because it kind of gives an insight as to how much the person knows about the things that they're getting actually into, right? So I think that's important. And I particularly like the forums where you don't get the questions before, because I want to know if Jose Luis, when asked about any given thing, is able to respond and how he's going to respond. Doesn't mean you're going to be right. It doesn't mean that it's a complete and clear indication of what you know or anything else, but it gives me an idea of how prepared is this guy.
Yeah, man, and that's where that one topic, and it was talking about the hospitals or the district hospitals.
The hospital district.
And you said it, like, hey man, it sounds like a great idea. I'm open for it, but who's gonna pony up the cash flow for this? Like,
Yeah.
And if the county does it, well, where's the money coming from, and how do you guys make money? It's with taxes. Like so, that is more of like we all want things. We all want the best things. Like government should go and help everybody, and like yeah, that'll be great, but somebody's paying for it, and that means property taxes are going to eventually go up. How do we do that? And
The best administrators are the ones who can find a way to actually get stuff done without affecting any of that other stuff, right? And those are the ones that are really good because, you know, anybody can ask for a raise and get it and buy some more stuff or get a raise. But the trick is being able to live within your means and be able to do, you know, and I hate cliches, but I'm going to throw one here is being able to do more, not necessarily with less, but doing more with what you have in hand at the moment.
yeah,
And I think that's very important. But look, county judge, I would argue to say, and most people say, is an extremely important position in our county. You know, and the last thing you want is somebody who does not have experience, you know, in any type of one government duty or government function. But certainly you want somebody who's been there before, who knows how to do it.
right.
And the one thing that I've been campaigning on this entire time is I've been there for 8 years. I passed a whole host of different things that have actually benefited the community. And I know how to get things done. I know how to go to Austin and legislatively change laws that will impact our community because I've done it before. I headed the county's legislative affairs for 4 sessions, going to Austin, helping draft proposed legislation, advocating with legislators, working behind the scenes on things that actually got passed and actually made a difference in our community.
Give me an example.
So back in 2000 and about 2007, 2008, you know, for people who are old enough to remember the county used to, every time a new politician would get sworn in, there'd be a host of firings because new administration came in, they'd fire all the old people and they'd bring in all the new people. And so you had people be like, I'm just here to do my job. But just because my political boss lost, I'm going to lose my job. And so we knew we needed to change that. And so we implemented civil service. Well, the problem was state statute did not allow counties or our county to implement civil service. And so we had to go to the legislature and get that law changed.
Yeah.
Well, that was done legislatively. Guess who headed up that legislative agenda for the county? I did. We were able to get that done. And again, it wasn't just me, it was the entire court as well.
Right.
You know, we worked in concert, but we were the ones going to Austin. We were the ones advocating. We were the ones testifying. We got it done. And today, people who work for elected officials, once an elected official or an administration changes, guess what? The overwhelming majority of people don't have to worry about losing their job. We changed that. So those are the kinds of things that people need to know. And look, you wouldn't hire somebody who didn't have some type of experience in the job they were trying to hire. Right. You just don't. And in this particular case, I have presented to people my experience. And I'm the only one of the people running for office right now who knows exactly how the county operates and would be able to be effective from the first day.
Do you think it helped you being a commissioner and then stepping out and then now coming back in and seeing it from a different view?
I think it did. Oh, absolutely. You know, you kind of look at things a little differently. I mean, obviously it's been, about 13 years since I left office, 12 years since I left office. And in those 12 years, I matured, I got a little grayer, got a little wiser. And you certainly see things from a different perspective. So no, I do think that stepping out and now coming back has made me a little better prepared to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw your campaign and you talk about family and finances. Mm-hmm. And finances is one of the big things in Laredo, and we were doing this together, right? And I like how you're saying things, and I think a lot of people are not looking into that. Like, you stepped out from office, right? Mm-hmm. And now you are doing this. Now you're doing the financial planning and everything, and you're seeing the issue. Laredo, and you know this. I mean, Laredo has an issue with financial issues. Like, what are we doing? Like, how are we going to protect that? And I think every single politician that I've seen, I'm not saying this person or anything like that. We all want is like we're going to do this, and this, and it's like, guys, it's not about like the government doing things for you. It's about, okay, how can we help you to have more control over your finances? Because that's really the issue. Like, you're not changing anything. I can give you way more, but what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
You're still going to continue the same habit. And everybody always says, I need more money. I need to make more money. It's like, no, you just need to become more, manage your money better.
Well, it's like I tell people, I go, look, you don't have a revenue problem, you have an expense problem.
Right,
Sometimes,
exactly.
right?
And I think that's the mindset. And I like how you're talking about this stuff, man. And I think this is a topic that nobody really has touched it or wants to touch it. And yes, I believe that we should help. We should help the community. We should help the people that, hey, we don't have the funds to cover the light bill or whatever. But that's where the churches come in as well. That's part of the ministry work.
Yeah.
And the government should be there as well to do something to help, but not full forcefully. Like, everybody, you're not Oprah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, not everyone's going to get a car.
Yeah.
Right? Look, the core tenets of my campaign is your family, your finances, and your future. I may not know Jose Luis, I may not know David, I may not know Jaime, I may not know majority of people in this community,
Yeah.
but we all share those three things.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you live, regardless of where you grew up, regardless of what your address is, those are the three things that we all agree on are important, and those are the three things that we're all trying to make better. You know, who does not want to take care of their family, right? Who does not want to ensure that their finances are taken care of so that they can provide for their families? Who is not interested in their kids and their family's future, knowing that the day I'm no longer here, that they're going to be okay, you know, as the next generation? And the whole idea is, if you look at those three things, the decisions that we make over here and the projects that we do should all affect those positively in one way or another. Very simple.
Yeah.
So how can I, as a county judge, put more money in your wallet? And not physically, right? But how can I ensure that the opportunity that exists out there is going to be able to put an extra dollar in your wallet? How can I make sure that the policy I decide is not going to take an extra dollar out, but leave that in there for you to use? How can I make sure that the future we have, you know, our kids, you know, if our kids have to leave Webb County to succeed, then we have failed.
Right.
So it's a very simple formula. We complicate it.
Yeah,
we really do. But I will present this to the public, people watching, is the decisions we make, the programs we do, should somehow benefit those three things.
Yeah, and I think that is the whole, that's always been my thing, where we're going to give you more, and it's like, you're not giving me anything. Like, it's a personal issue, and we need to learn how to be better at it, managing it. But because we are consumers, we consume a lot. And the funny part, man, is that we all, and I mean, you've seen the votes, it's been very low.
Yeah.
And we're like, they're all the same. They never change. They're just for the compadre systems or the patron system. And it's like, they just want to spend money. I'm like, well, yeah, but what are you doing? Like, what are we, the community, what are we doing? You want to hold these people at a higher standard, but are you doing the same on your personal stuff? And we should all hold accountable. Like, we should hold the county, the city officials, everybody accountable for what they're doing. But it starts home. Like, that's your priority. Like, start there, start making sure, and that's where we start doing more things.
How can we create the environment that will allow people to empower themselves to be able to get better? Now, that's what government is there for. You know, to be able to create the environment, to be able to create the atmosphere, to be able to allow people to have the opportunity that with their hard work, with their effort, they can accomplish the things that they want to accomplish.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I mean, that's the American dream. That's what we're all striving for, right? I mean,
Right.
some of us are still working towards that. But the idea is that that opportunity should exist for everybody and not just a select few.
Talking about select few, and I saw the clip.
Well,
And that's-
I say that because I knew we were gonna segue into that.
I saw that clip, and I'm like, really, Jerry? Like, why would you say that? Like, and then it's like, okay, well, it's a clip. The one percenters.
Take it out of context.
It was the one percenters, and I'm like, it's the one percenters' fault, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like, it's not our. It's not.
No,
I'm saying me, but I'm not fair.
But if
But
you look at the
talk.
whole context, we're not blaming anybody. We're not talking about. And again, you talk about the context of a debate, right? You know, when the bell rings, you know, no matter what thoughts you have, you've got to stop. And so, you know, if you stop mid-sentence or you're not able to go and provide context, you know, those are the. But I'm glad we're finally, because I've never really been able to talk about it the way. The whole point of that was the idea that not that anyone is to blame for anybody's problems, and not that any particular group needs to be removed or done away with at the expense of others. It's the idea that we need to be able to provide opportunity so that it expands beyond 1%.
Right.
And so that that particular group can grow and have more of them in there. And that was the whole point that I was trying to make with that comment. You know, we have enough divisiveness and we have enough issues in our country and in society. You know, the idea that the opportunity should be available, not that everyone needs to be given but that the opportunity should be available for those who want to take it. That it's there and that it's available. So that people with, again, going back to their hard work, their dedication, their commitment, can go up and say, I want that. And I'm going to go bust my rear to be able to accomplish that. And if I do that, and if I do right, and if I do it well, and maybe with just a little bit of luck, I can now, you know, enjoy what the opportunity that's out there, you know, can give me.
Yeah, because I was like, Jerry, you cannot say that it's the one percenters, bro, because they pay their fair share of taxes. They have problems just like all of us, and their problems are just bigger with more zeros and more commas in there. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
But they're paying their fair share, and I've seen, and I say this personally because I know some individuals that have done very well for themselves, great businesses here locally in Laredo. And man, they go out and support community events. They go out and pour money. And I was like, time out, Jerry. That clip, and that's where I was like, dude, wow. But then when you look at it, it's like, okay, that's
okay. And I go back to this. You know, we've known each other long enough, you know, to where, I mean, that's not the kind of person I am. Somebody who wants to go help others, like I did with you, doesn't go. What is it? Doesn't go living based on that. I mean, you're talking about something that was completely taken out of context, and you know, wasn't able to be fully finalized. The thought wasn't.
But that's what I mean by these debates or these forums where, dude, there's some great topics and they just cut you off. Like, I saw that recent one, and they were cutting off the mics. Yeah. I was like, what? Like, why? Like, these are good topics that need more follow-up.
Like, you want me to tell you what I'm going to do for the county in 4 years in 30 seconds?
You can't. That's what I'm saying. And I think that is why, and I think that is one of the main reasons why we have some very low turnouts, because who do we vote for? Like, we don't know. Yeah. Like, all we get is just little glimpses and clips of people. But yeah, man, like, those are things that I'm just kind of like, well, we need to sit down and do more. But one thing I will say, Jerry, because I know I don't want people to say like, oh, well, they used to work together, or he's just like softballing these questions. Sure. It's like, no, but there's some weird things that you've done that I saw that they were just like, wait, what? Like, how can you struggle here, bro? Like, come on. It wasn't the strongest on your side, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. I just thought it was very crazy. You know a lot of people, a lot of people. You would go, I would see you were shaking hands, and I'm like, dude, why is it that you know everybody, but when it comes down to like sitting down like this for what we're doing, it was never that wasn't your strongest point.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's okay. Like I was like, all right, well maybe I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
So then you announce your campaign, and are like, dude, well I'm gonna go and go downtown and go be there with support Jerry.
Yeah.
Dude, it's packed, and I'm like, how come you couldn't do this there, but you're doing it here? And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, I mean, he just bets on himself, like, and he knows the quality that he's gonna do, and I mean, there's no, and I'm like, yeah, maybe, but
So again, just
why do you suck on that part and you don't suck on this side?
Just to give people some context, So post KG&S, now in financial advisor, investment advisor, insurance, real estate, and the whole bit, and the idea that making a transition from my previous career to this obviously provided itself with some challenges, because now as much as you're advising people, and I will put my financial and investment knowledge up against some of the best, right? And whatnot. The idea of now, hey, you got to get people to buy it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's sales position, right? For as much as we want to do, and the level of success. I don't want to say success. I think the level of the ability to attract hasn't exactly translated from from TV and politics to that. But I'll we're talking about this, and I really couldn't put my finger on it. And then the idea of people know me as the guy from TV. I did that for 20 years. Hey, that's the guy from KG&S, or that's the guy who was county commissioner. Once I get to the next level of who I am, once we peel the onion, beyond KG&S, beyond county commissioner, beyond politician, to get to what I'm doing now, by then people may have lost interest at that point, right? Or they said, all right, I got to go. And that has been challenging. It's I've been typecast into certain things. It's going to take a little deprogramming. But the good thing is once I can find that tweak, I'm hoping that we'll be able to.
Dude, I was just thinking like, look, if we have a seminar and do some, because I can talk about investments and all that, and I'm not going to get fired anymore. Can you bring 20 people or 30 people? And it was like, no. I'm just saying, like, we never talked about it, the actual numbers, but I see you doing this, and it's like, dude, it's a full house.
But I can pack a room for.
Yeah, and it's like, how can you, like, I couldn't understand that, but it's strange, but I wanted to just say that.
But it kind of goes back to what you were, when we're talking about finances. A lot of people are worried about, why do we have a hard time getting people to prepare for their futures financially?
Yeah.
And I know we've got a lot of work to do with financial literacy overall, everywhere, right? Because I don't think we do enough financial literacy, and we see it, today. But why don't people prepare for things down the road? Because people are worried about today.
Yeah.
We talk about, hey, well, let's find the disposable income. People don't have disposable income. Not as much as we would want them to have disposable income. So people are worried about today, and they're not necessarily worried about how can I invest for my retirement? How can I make sure I get life insurance so that my family's taken care of when I'm no longer here in 30, 40 years, 50 years, whatever the case may be, because that's going to put me out an extra $100, $200, $300 a month. I don't have that. Or I need that for my daughter's school trip. I need that for my kids' Little League. Yeah. I need that for, I just want to enjoy a nice evening out with my family. And so the idea that how can I put more money into your wallet?
Right.
And one of the things that I'm proposing, Jose Luis, and we're going to do that from the very beginning, and I hope to get the support from the Commissioner's Court, and I think I will, is implementing a homestead exemption at the county level. The state statutes give cities and counties the ability to implement a homestead exemption.
Yeah.
We can do up to 20%. Now, are we going to go up to 20% on the first round? Probably not. But if we can start working toward that, that is the first step at putting money back into your wallet, because the money that we're exempting, we're now exempting it from property taxes.
Yeah.
So that's a great start. But as once we start to do that, maybe now people will have the ability to start looking toward their future. But you see how all this is connected: family, finances, and future.
Right.
It's all connected, and that's how I'm going to approach things.
I think I would. Yeah, man. I think it's going to be a great thing, and we're hoping if you do take it, and hopefully you do, man, and we'll be praying on that one. And I know it's a challenge, and I know there's other individuals, but one thing, Jerry, if you do win, I would like to see if there's not an opportunity for you guys to create as a county and create a program, man, where we talk about finances, and that's a very interesting topic, because creating a project to teach individuals how to manage their money wisely. I think that is one part where either city officials or county officials, and it's not even that costly. It's just like, hey, let's just show you the fundamentals, because some people don't know the fundamentals of, hey, how do I do it? They're just based off of what they've seen.
Well, even and we saw this, school district employees who have their 403B. Right. A lot of, even today, we have school employees who don't realize that they don't have Social Security.
Yeah.
Until it's too late.
Yeah. And then they want to make
it's
miracles.
like, all this time you should have been contributing to your 403B, because that was going to replace your Social Security. Well, no one ever told me.
Yeah.
And we've taken that to officials and be like, well, we don't want you to come and sell. Well, I'm not here to sell. I'm here to educate.
Yeah. And then they want you to like, aren't you a financial advisor?
But it's always looked upon. It's always frowned upon because you have ulterior motives. Well, sometimes you don't have an ulterior motive. Sometimes I really just want to be able to get that information out. And let them decide. But those are certainly things that we've tried to do. I think people look at it as with skepticism, because you're just trying to weasel your way in. There are some genuine good people who really just want to try to help.
Exactly.
And if I'm one of those. You do good, good comes back.
Yeah.
And you invest in people, and hopefully people will invest in you.
Absolutely. Well, Jerry, I think I wish I could go longer, and I told you, I was like,
we'll do this next time as when I'm judge-elect. How about that?
In your office. We'll do it in the office, man. But Jerry, I think it's been great. I really wish people get an understanding of who you are, what your beliefs are, your core values, and how we're going to hold you accountable, and how you're going to run operations there in the county. We wish you nothing but the best, man, and hopefully, I don't know, just start making some changes, man. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a pain, but there's painful things and changes.
It's a challenge that I'm completely looking forward to, and it's a challenge that I take on with everybody who's watching. We certainly won't do this alone.
Yeah.
And we certainly will not succeed alone. We're going to succeed together.
Awesome. So. Well, anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, just I know we're probably going to be watching this before Election Day.
Yeah.
Tuesday, March the 3rd. So just asking people to head out. If you haven't had a chance to go out and vote, to go out and cast your vote. Hopefully it would be for me, but if it's not, just go out and vote, and let's get those numbers up, and know that people in Webb County are making a difference when it comes out to their government.
Awesome. Jerry, thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. We'll do it again.
I appreciate it.
I want to do a quick shout out to 1920 for allowing us to always film here and always doing the thing, and great sponsors. So thank you very much.